Laugh out loud, love a lot, and shop for what makes you happy. Hey guys, Mandy here with section number 3 in our Simple Decorating Book Club series. If this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you subscribe. Be sure to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future book club videos. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. So section number 3 is called Beautiful Backdrops, and this covers tips 15 to 21 out of the 50 different tips that she has. So tip number 15 says create visual flow from room to room, and she offers different ways to do that. First, she says remove objects of distraction, and I am not a cluttery type of person. I'm not a knick-knack type of person. I'm not a collections type of person, so I don't really struggle with that. The type of clutter that we have is just the stuff that we use every day. I struggle with being tidy. Next, she says color your choices, and except for the laundry room, let's not talk about that, I finally have my color choices figured out. I just need to paint them, but I need to not be pregnant when I do that. She also says to unite with an accent color, so using one accent color in each room to kind of tie the rooms together. And I don't really think that that's necessary for every room to have one matching accent color. But for me, I prefer to use different ratios of the same type of colors. So my living room is mostly purple with a smaller ratio of teal and then touches of pink. My kitchen then is mostly teal with touches of purple and pink. And then my entryway and bathroom are more pink with touches of teal and purple. Okay, tip number 16 says set the scene with paint. And the first thing she says is to choose your wall paint last. For me, all of my color choices kind of came together at the same time. She also says to find inspiration for your colors. My color inspirations came from boho gypsy decor searches on Pinterest, and they also happen to be my 3 favorite colors. Next, she says to make it easy, and how I make it easy is for my neutral wall color, aka the white part, I went with ready-made paint from Walmart, so I can always just run in and grab another can with my kids and not have to stand there waiting around trying to keep preschoolers contained. She also says to consider neutrals. Most of my walls are neutral-ish, but like I said, I'm a fan of color. Next, she says, don't be afraid of dark color. And I tried dark colors, but my house is so small and the rooms are so small that it just felt so claustrophobic. My house was like screaming to be made lighter. She also says to soften harsh lines. And for me, painting the trim the same or similar color to the wall color really helps my rooms to feel bigger and less cluttered. She also says to paint stripes, which I did that in my entry. She also says to test your choice, which seems obvious to me. Most people put a swatch on the wall before they paint the whole wall. And finally, she says to make it fun, and she talks about like chalkboard paint and dry erase paint, and I don't really feel the need to do that at my house. Next, she says define space and style with rugs, and she has several tips in here for how to do that. So I'm just going to kind of interact with each of those tips and assume that you already read them. So for tip number 1, she talked about rugs over carpet. The only room in our house that even has a carpet is my daughter's room, and I'm not even worried about the kids' rooms right now. For tips number 2 and 3, our largest room is the living room, and like I said before, we have kind of 3 different sections for the living room. The first is the dining table, which we are not putting a rug under because we have 2, soon to be 3 small children, and that would be really impractical. We also have our little reading nook, which does have a small rug under it. And then for our conversation area, we actually have 2 layered rugs. And this was something that I saw on Pinterest. I think it was by the Pottery Barn. What I did to kind of recreate the look that I saw was I got a really big inexpensive rug in a geometric pattern, and then I got a slightly smaller floral rug that was a little bit more expensive, and I kind of put it catty corner layered on top of each other, and it really just softens the feel of the room. For tip number 4, we don't really have a problem with contrasting rugs because pretty much only every other room in our house even has a rug in it, so that's not a problem for us. For tip number 5, all of our furniture in our living room, which is kind of the only room in our house that has rugs, all of our furniture is solid, so the patterned rugs work well with that. All right, moving on to tip number 18. Maximize your windows. She says to hang the curtains tall and wide, which even though our rooms are small and the ceilings aren't very high, I did that and it really does make the room feel a lot bigger. She also says to use lots of panels, and that can get expensive, but fortunately for us, 2 panels is basically twice the width of our windows because our windows are really narrow, so that works out well. She also says to place blinds above the window frame if you can. We don't really use blinds. The only rooms that we ever keep dark are our bedrooms, and we have blackout curtains, and we just leave those down all the time because we're only usually in there to sleep. Next, she says get blinds to fit. Like I said, we don't use blinds. She also says to show off molding with fixed short rods, which is a great idea if you have gorgeous molding. Our molding is like puny and wimpy, and I do my best to disguise it. Next, she says to add character and function with shutters. And the only room that I might consider that in would be the kitchen. But like I said, I'm a really big fan of having as much light as possible, and I just feel like it would get too dark. And finally, she says to do what works. And my proudest, most creative window treatment solution is in our living room. We have a large picture window. And what I did was the 3 panels across the top are actually throw blankets that I bought from Target on clearance, and then the draping sides that are on the 2 sides of the window are actually a purple sheet that I got on clearance at Walmart, and I cut it in half and I hung it up. So it looks really nice, but it was really, really inexpensive. Okay guys, 3 more tips to go. Tip number 19, select curtains for effect, which is simple enough. Tip number 20, embellish with architectural details. And the only thing that I'm considering doing as far as that is concerned would be to put something over our current trim, because our trim, like I said, on the ceiling and floor, it is just really wimpy, and like, why did you even bother putting it there? So someday, yes, I would love to put a nice looking trim over the bottom of our floorboard. And lastly, tip number 21 is another DIY, and it says design a personalized map wall. And for me, no thank you. That would feel really cluttered to me, and I just wouldn't have a place for that where it wouldn't feel like claustrophobic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you join me for next week's video, and I will see you then. Bye!